to do that dance, you get full field.
It also looks sort of like the natural swing of shoulders when you're actually walking.
Yep.
Even when it makes a difference what kind of character construction you have. If you have a head that is more difficult to move, then you'll find naturally that you do. Yeah, when you got a big head, a lot of times it takes a lot more head.
On the shoulders with braces, and you cannot turn the head. You have to turn by.
That's the way I do it. This one sits on my shoulders mostly. I do have a hat band, which helps a little, but it's mostly shoulder action and full body movement.
Yep.
Yeah. You have to adapt to the costume, and you have to figure out what moves work with the costume. If it's a personal costume, or you have access to the costume ahead of time, I recommend practicing if it's the first time you perform. Ideally in front of a mirror, or even better, a video camera, so you can see what it looks like. You may think you're giving a big wave, and then you watch a video, it's like, oh, I don't know if that's going, hey, yeah, okay, now that's looking like a wave.
Like pictures. Know where your eye line is and know where your head is facing when a picture's being taken, because where you're looking may not be where the character's looking.
It's like
you get the shot of you doing this.
Yeah. I have a suit where I had that problem, because the eye line was a lot lower than I realized, and I got a bunch of pictures of the forehead. And it's like,
look at my forehead, it's so beautiful.
Wow.
If you have people you trust, and I've done this for a few different pretty good performers, had the opportunity to wear their costumes, and it was kind of they smell. I've worn Kodi.
People you trust and people of roughly the same measurements.
I've worn Kodis too.
Yeah, you gotta find something. Like, I could probably wear most of Kodi's costumes, even though he's taller and
as long as they're not smaller than you. That's
smaller is a harder one, absolutely. But I've had an opportunity to wear a couple other people's costumes and go out and sort of doppelgang as them. And the fun part about that is for me, is the chance to kind of have a new character to play with. But if you find somebody who's got a good dynamic performance style, like I'll brag and say myself with Kodi and even Nicodemus, you put him in your costume and you say, and you go be a spotter at a convention. That works wonderfully.
Oh yes.
Because I can put on his costume and go run around the convention for 20 minutes, follow me around, and I guarantee you he will learn 3 things by watching his own character move and go, oh, that looks cool. Yeah. Anytime you do that,
I never thought of moving.
How did you do that?
The head just is perfect. Anytime you do that, right? Exactly.
Oh, hey, that's
so Kodi knows this because they laugh at me for doing this, but I do head, shoulders, knees, and toes every time I go out. Every time I get in costume, I'll get right up to the door. I'll stop and usually find a mirror, like in the bathroom, in the doorway or something. And even if there's no mirror, you can still do it slowly.
He's there for hours.
And I just do a really quick head, shoulders, knees, eyes, and ears, and mouth, and nose, which is often here, not here. When you cover your nose, you're probably doing this, not this is your mouth, this is your nose. And depending on your character, I do that every single time before I go out to remind myself, ears are here, not here. Eyes are here, not here. Mouth is here, not here. Nose is here, not here. I do
something that I find myself sometimes having an issue with is how to pose for photos. Like if someone stops me and they want to take a picture, I tend to just kind of stick to only a certain few ones. So how would you suggest branching off and doing more things, making it more animated?
Mirror, 2 things.
Oh, you mean like
I'll jump out and I'll say mirror. Number 1, mirror, just to practice. Other things that might look cool. Like you might have a cool hand on your ear type of pose you could do, or hey, or the surfer, or the infamous yippee pose. Oh, sorry for my. Yeah.
Got to do two fingers forward.
Obviously. 2 fingers.
And
it's like learning dance moves. This is the yippee. It depends on the character.
But other objects or people, if they're nearby, I found helps me do something that's cool. Like if someone just comes up and takes a picture of me, I'll kind of be like, hey, or hey, or I'll get a wave up. I know my pink paw pads add to a picture, so I try to make sure I get my pads up, so that I can get them. I'll try to make sure I'm looking, and this is what Kodi was, or no, Nicodemus was talking about.
Both.
No, Kodi was talking about. Was making sure you're looking in the right place. If you're used to a couple other poses, you probably already know when you're looking at the camera and when you're not, so you're okay there. But if you have different pieces, like you've got the yellow stripe on your tail here, you could grab your tail and hold your tail.
Yeah.
Because you added another visual element to the picture by having the yellow stripe there, right? So,
It
but
depends
if
a
you
lot
have,
on the sort of person you're posing with. If
Yeah.
you're doing like pose with mom and kid at the park, you're gonna wanna do a different sort of pose, and you may want to frame them.
Mhm.
Yeah.
If you're doing like, if you're at a furry con and you're being silly, there's all sorts of,
Cody just bends over.
Hey, come on, it's a family show.
with no respect. No respect.
But using other people is a good one. Like, I've got Nicodemus here. I come up, I can lean on the
Whack him with your tail.
I don't know that necessarily the person wanted Nicodemus in their picture, but they're getting him. At our helping cause, that's one of my favorite things to do is to hide behind children in a photo and get rabbit ears up. Especially when I'm in Thumper. It's absolutely hilarious to have a rabbit putting rabbit ears on somebody else.
Yes.
You are fired, sir.
The hardest part I have about photos at those events is always with kids. If you don't have a good sense of balance, you're in trouble. Because we have a no-touch rule, so the kid will be here. I have to keep myself away. I'll have my hand
Always
behind
have
them,
your
above
hand-
their
That's actually
shoulder,
why
behind their head.
my default framing pose is
Yeah.
like this.
I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you.
It looks excited, but it's also, hey,
Yeah.
No lawsuit.
Yeah.
No lawsuit.
Keep
No lawsuit picture. That almost starts going to the kid direction.
And the baby direction.
Yeah.
Have good knees.
Yes.
You will spend a lot of time down.
Let
I
me
try to keep my
quickly do an impression for you.
Uh-oh.
You're posing with the kid. Okay, you ready? Okay. No, Jimmy, look up. No, Jimmy, look up. Where's the flash on this thing, huh? Okay, no, Jimmy, scooch over. It's not going. Hold on just a minute. Hold on just a minute. Oh, look at it.
This is not an exaggeration. I am dead serious. That is not an exaggeration.
I've seen it.
Pretty much
It's
a
not
little
even with costume.
Just do this.
It's just
do this.
generally.
Yep.
In Bumper, because he's brown, I can get away sometimes with getting my knee on the ground. Sometimes I'll wear knee pads underneath it just to save my actual knees from the pain of sitting on the ground a lot. In Thumper, he's all white. I can't put my feet or knees down, so I do a lot of squat, single side squat, or knee forward squat, just trying to keep it off the ground. You get a lot of wall sit type of action going on. Expect your legs to hurt at the end of the day when you're doing this with kids all day.
One thing I like to do for knees, particularly if you got big feet, and I believe Thumper does,
Yes.
is I will actually kneel on my own foot.
Yes.
There you go.
Yes.
So it looks like I'm kneeling, but my, particularly with fur
Put it
here,
down
you
on your own
don't
foot.
really see that.
Yeah.
But, still, no part of my suit's touching
You
the ground
gotta-
other than the soles.
You got to kind of get sideways to do that if you're going to frame a picture.
Yeah, you end up being, like this with someone.
My least favorite move are parents who try to give you their children.
Buddy,
Yeah.
you hold baby for picture.
Yeah.
No,
Bunny!
Always-
hold baby.
I always get my hands up when they do that. Last weekend we had that happen. Somebody actually somehow managed to hand off a kid to.
Well done.
Hey Cody, he is filming this.
Hi, Mom.
Sorry for that.
Cody advocates headbutting small children. Today on YouTube.
Today on YouTube, how to make
I have
small
exactly
projectiles.
one photo where I'm holding a baby. And that's because it was my own son and I wasn't going to sue myself.
Right. Yeah. Do not let parents hand you their children. They would love to do it. That's another reason why having spotters around is great, because spotters can help you avoid handling the child. They can also help with the smaller kids whose parents would just as soon let them harass you. Not that the parents are encouraging them. Mommy, I don't want to play with the puppies. But you, at our events, it's insane how many times the parents, as soon as the kid comes to us, the parents are going.
Babysitting
They're like,
service.
exactly.
Yeah.
They think we're a babysitting service. And the problem is, that's fun. My biggest objection to that, though, is the fact
Babies are
that
expensive.
I have to give my attention to this kid who doesn't have a parent or anything else there. If my spotter doesn't help me involve the other children that are there, you get a queue of 6 other kids sitting here waiting to say hi to you, and you're still dealing with the one kid who has no parental supervision or nobody else to help move the flow along, right? So,
That's when the kid needs a leash.
Biggest problem I ever had.
what in the world?
That is, wow.
You're
That is
fogged
easy.
up, bro.
That is easy.
And that's because it was my own son.
Please,
Space dragon
please,
thing.
please don't take your head off, even if you're at a fur con in public.
It hurts his feelings.
It does, it makes me cry. No, it's...
No walking through the lobby, carrying it, you know.
It's not as bad as it used to be. I mean, there used to be really ironclad rules about that, where people would just start getting really teed off at that.
Now they do it all
half this room raise their hands and all they want to do is hang out and suit and con. I totally respect that. Build it into your suit if you can.
Sure.
Don't take your beautiful $4,000 Latin Vixen full suit into the lobby and then sit down and take your head and paws off and then chat all day. Design a get a partial. It's a lot cheaper. Get a partial with a moving jaw.
Yeah.
Now you can sit very comfortably on the couch in the lobby for hours on end and carry on a conversation in character. And guess what? That's a whole lot more interesting to me and everybody else than taking your head off and making us look at your ugly face.
Yeah.
For example, if we will not let him take his head off again for the rest of this panel because I will vomit if I have to see his face.
How did you make it up to the first time?
It's like, you're talking about putting a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of effort.
No, come back.
Everything come out all right? Aw. Yeah, we know you stink. It's okay.
This is actually a pretty good example of emotion, isn't it?
Yeah. Conveying emotion quite well there.
Did you have any, did we get into more specific about
Now we have a tender loving embrace.
deodorant? I'm very curious about more skittish.
The big
Very
dogs have
unpredictable.
Very
unpredictable.
Very. A lot of times they'll kind of come up to you like, they almost look scared, and they kind of sniff you, and then it's like, oh crap. That's how I respond. When a dog starts barking at me, I just start going.
So if it's a small dog, not a big dog, if it's a small dog, sometimes I do things like you do the whole...
Well, I thought the
big
proper
dogs,
move
they
was
bite.
Yeah.
My issue's always been
Only
with
for
the ones people
kids.
are holding on to, so they're at my height level.
You know what?
I thought there was children's too.
Not to sound crude or anything, but the people who are holding their little yippy dog in their hand, that's their freaking problem. It's barking at you. I mean,
They're probably not your ideal audience member.
Oh my God! Look at the guy.
Yeah, and they don't give me hugs unless I reach towards them, and then they feel.
Is it- are you trying to interact with those people with the dog specifically, or are they just like
No,
next
I
to the
just
people
I
you're
don't
interacting
even
with?
see the
Don't
dog
even
at all.
see it till.
It's a
I'm
small
working my way down the
Yeah.
crowd, which is
Sure.
6 people deep,
It's a spotter thing.
and
Yeah.
Yes.
yes, but
Yeah.
in a
Thank
parade
you.
you don't have a spotter with you,
And why not?
Yeah, you should be.
but not as you're going
Well, so
down.
You
We
can have
Yeah.
spotters in parades.
Sure.
With the Helping Paws stuff, what we did is our spotters actually had Helping Paws shirts on with the logo on there. So they
Oh, I see.
fitted with the group. So it wasn't just dudes hanging around you. It looked like they were official and a part of it.
I see.
But in that situation, that'd be definitely a zone defense type of thing.
Yeah.
Like we'd be in the parade route on a float or something else, and our spotters would be in their shirts walking the line on the edge, right?
Yeah.
So if I came over to the edge, that would be one of those things, and I didn't even think of that, but that would be a great one to give a spotter in advance and say, hey, you know what? You spot dogs, you give me a high sign, right? Just go, oh, hey, King, look at the puppy, and you can be like, okay. You know, and go. It's probably not that hard to move on quickly in a parade environment, though. Like if you approach someone, you realize they have a dog, then it's like, hey, and the person next to you. Goodbye. Approach someone, you realize they have a dog.